Welcome into another Tuesday night evening blend. I am Pop Blender. With me is Matthew Matson. As always, he has two polar bears making out. Let's get that back up there. As always, yes. And one of them, boy, it was a rough night last night for one of them, huh? I mean, hey, have we all been there or what? We have. Hey, we've all been there. Holy moly, what's really going on? Well, welcome in another Tuesday night. Topic-wise is probably a topic we've talked about before, but after seeing Superman and Fantastic Four, and then kind of starting to get some news about Spider-Man, I kind of wanted to talk about that later on.
Yeah.
If there's even excitement for Doomsday even, right? So I kind of want to get into that because I haven't seen it.
We got some exciting news today about it. If you didn't already know, I mean, I thought everybody knew, but apparently not everybody knew. So
no, including myself. But I was at work, and then you had sent me a message, and so nonetheless, we'll get into that. Let's see. I'm trying to. Man, I didn't even want to do this. I don't know why I'm doing this. 2 minutes or less before we went on, I get a message about joining a fantasy football league that I haven't done in 12 or 13 years. Totally different people. And I'm like, hey, listen, I gotta stream. And it's like, well, if you don't respond in 5 minutes, we're moving on.
Well, let them move on then. Bye-bye.
I thought, okay, hey, I'll tell you what, I'll join it, but let me do all the particulars later, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like when I'm done. And then it's like, oh, man, we got to hurry up. We got to lock this in before. And I'm like, there's no draft. You don't even have a draft set up.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, if you've played fantasy football, but it can be fun.
Yeah.
It's just I was very ill prepared for a message like literally.
Yeah, if you're gonna set this up and there's no lead time on it, you're gonna high pressure me to do it. Fuck you, I'm out. Well, you're obviously desperate for the buy-in or whatever.
The thing was I hadn't heard anything about it. This is the first
exactly
time
no
I've
lead time
heard anything about it, right? And look, good friends, they're super cool guys, are awesome. But it's just the timing. It's a timing issue. Like now is not the best time for me to select a logo and pick a team name and all that shit. I'm like, what is happening? But as far as Doomsday and some of the news that came through, you sent me a message earlier, and we'll kind of chop that up a little bit as well. And let's see, I want to make sure I scroll back to there we go. But anyway, all right. So not a lot going on. There was one movie that opened on Thursday called Weapons that I really want to see. I've heard good things about it. It is a, I guess, horror movie, which is not my genre.
Thriller.
That's what I would more call it, which I do like that genre, suspense thriller. Not the big gore person.
Right. Yeah,
I liked Halloween over Friday the 13th, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So, but I do want to see Weapons coming up, this week, at least before next Tuesday, because I'd love to check. It just seems like it's a neat premise. It's got a great cast.
Yep.
And talked about it a little bit on Sunday night, but yeah. So hopefully by next Tuesday, I'll be able to.
So if anybody's looking for a Sunbow Snake Eyes with all of the mass device parts, I'm willing to part with one because I really just wanted two of these guys.
Yes, two polar bears in love. That's all Matthew ever really wanted. out of GI Joe Classified. Actually, all the figures. He really is looking forward to 2 polar bears in love. And that's basically it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm sure somebody might take you up on that offer. I did get the email today for the shipping notification for that figure from Pulse.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Been a while since I got much information from Pulse, but
they're not putting anything out. They're not even responding to emails or phone calls. They're
much.
Just sending you to 911.
Not much. So I got that email just a little while ago. Said, hey, Snake Eyes is going to be going. Actually, you know what? I don't even think it's that Snake Eyes.
Oh, it's probably the other one. The other one's kind of hitting everywhere right now.
I think you are correct.
Yeah.
It's
161, is it?
No, actually it is. It is.
Okay.
It is Polar Bear.
Okay.
Now that I look at it, I thought it was the version 4. Anyway, yeah. So looks like I'll be getting him soon. And I got to be honest with you guys. I got to be honest with you. I might pull out of the HasLab.
Ooh. But you can't because everybody needs you.
Well, they need me to get their tiers.
And you know, CoverGirl has hers. She's all ready to go.
See, look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Like, that's the Snowcat in the palm of your hand, or in the palm of her hand. Which, if that was my girlfriend's or CoverGirl, she would have me in the palm of her hand. Yes. Baseball cap. Come on. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm contemplating pulling out. I haven't said that in a while, but it's
I was never in on this one. I love the Snowcat.
Yeah.
This summer's been nuts, and there wasn't enough enticing me to want it. You know, there's a couple things in there. I love the photography options for the stuff that they're coming out with, but the Mythic Legions ones are going to be better. So I went with Mythic Legions.
Well, hey man, I get it, and I don't collect the Mythic, but like, just the more and more, the closer we get, I'm just not.
Yeah,
I'm not feeling it, dude. Yeah. I'm not feeling it. I'm not.
That accessory set from the Mythic Legions pre-order that they just had out. That's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome.
Awesome.
So that was the major reason I was getting in, and I thought I can get another polar bear and some other things. Right. I need 4 polar bears though, because if I'm going to recreate that Frazetta artwork of the guy on the sled with the 4 polar bears pulling them, I need 4 polar bears. I've got 2. Got to see if they go on clearance or something. I'll pick up some more.
And you know that, and that's important to you. You know, like that's important to you, and I fully understand that. And everybody kind of has their own thing, their different thing, and what matters to them. And I just don't know, man. I'm just not. After a few days of contemplation, I'm not sure. Yeah. And like you said, honestly, yes, there are other factors involved. You know, just I'm looking at the 14th and I'm going, okay, yeah, I got the money, but it's like I get some other stuff too.
Yeah,
that I need, you know, and it's kind of like, I think I'll be. Look, before I say hey, we say hey to chat. I just want to say this. I think I'll be able to get one if I really want it, and I don't think I'll have to pay an arm and a leg for it.
Aftermarket, you would absolutely will, because this will be the lowest production run of any HasLab.
I know. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's where all the banter comes in, and everybody, Iceberg's going to cost you $200, and I'm like,
Iceberg, no, Frostbite,
or Frostbite, my bad, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like it's like, I don't know. It's that speculation thing.
Carlos, no, I don't even have a shipping label yet, Carlos. And I emailed them today saying, look, everybody's got them. I backed it on the first day.
Not everybody.
I backed it on the first day. So I was within the first couple hundred backers.
All right, let me take care of this real quick. I've just got to say, hey, look, I'm in the middle of a stream. And
so this guy right here,
okay,
he's pretty cool. I don't like his short boots. I don't like the single jointed elbows, but other than that, he's pretty cool. He fits the artwork, and then he's got the modifiable one, so you could do the other Conan Frazetta picture with the sword and the skull stack. And as soon as Savage Crucible releases theirs, I'll have that skull stack that I could put him on. But he's pretty cool. I still like my Savage Crucibles a little bit better, size wise, articulation wise, and like I said, these boots are tiny. They should go up higher. They should go up right below his kneecap.
Yeah, I agree.
I
agree. They look a little elfish.
A little elfish, yeah.
A little Peter Pan. Speaking of Peter Pan, we watched a show that.
Speaking of Peter Pan,
kind of based on some Peter Pan.
We're a ways from that, aren't we?
We are a little ways away from that. But I'll tell you what I did do. Speaking of Peter Pan, let's say hey to the chat, and then I'll get back to that thought. Shane, Same Time Toys, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you as always. Men, Joe, what's up, buddy? Brogu, love it. I love Brogu.
Love it.
I just love it. I do. And yeah, Doomsday, Shane, better throw a switch soon. Should be stoked, and I'm not, and I feel you. Tony's Fix is in the house. What's up, Tony? Just watched you a little while ago on Circle of Jerks. Good episode. Never know when it's going to end. It's kind of a pain in the ass, and at the same time, it's also kind of funny, right? It depends on how you take it. Yeah, I'm with you on Halloween, definitely, and it's a suspense thriller, not really a horror movie, right? And that's what makes it work. That first person perspective. Joe Fan 84 is here as well. Good to see you. And then let's see here. Punk with Toys coming in, hanging out for a little while. Busy man. And then obviously Not Rachel says, a.k.a. Carlos says, did you ever get your Rattler? And of course, you answered that question. G.I. Bro is also in the house. And that's where we're at right now. And we'll add some more. And that's the way it always goes. So Todd C, what's up?
What's up, Todd?
Todd C, good to see. So quickly, I will tell you what I got into the last couple nights. All right, I made a couple Facebook posts about it. I got into watching. I saw the Jacksons in Knoxville, Tennessee during the Victory Tour in 1984.
Wow, nice.
My mom worked for Pepsi Cola, and they gave the Pepsi employees tickets, and we took these couple of vans to Knoxville. And I was 9 years old. And the Victory Tour was a very successful tour, but it was the last tour that the Jacksons performed together. It basically broke them up. Michael was a huge star by 1984. Anyway, I've gone back and watched like the full concert.
Yeah.
And I've gone back and watched the full concert from like 81 or something like that. I can't remember what tour it was. Anyway, dude, you want to talk about not being able to sit still while you listen or watch like a concert just on YouTube. I was sitting outside on the patio, and it was just like I couldn't stop. Like I couldn't stop. It was one song after another, and then it's so high octane and so fast paced and dancing, and the band is amazing, and it's like and I just don't know they do concerts like that anymore. They really don't. It's kind of sad. There are performers out there who are amazing.
Yeah.
Dude, like that, it's crazy to think about how much energy was expended every night.
Every now and then you'll get some concert that's really good, a performer that's amazing, somebody who was discarded before but came back. I forgot the kid's name, but he did a Super Bowl concert. That's the first time I saw him, and I thought that was really cool. But you just don't have the same music anymore. You don't have the same much of anything. Everything's become so niche that these big corporations all over the board, across the board, from the music industry to Hollywood to toy making, can't handle the load anymore or what's desired, because all the independents are picking up the pieces, and everything's gotten into these small little groups. Like why Weird Al can't make a comedy album and a parody album anymore.
Yeah. And look, I understand that the shelf life of artists, even actors, right? It's very short. You know, it takes a long time to maybe record an album or to put a tour together, make a movie, right? 10 years can go by in the blink of an eye, and next thing you know, you're not getting the leading man parts anymore. You're getting the dad parts, right? Stuff like that. But just looking and you go back and you think about him 1 year, 1984, Prince was touring the Purple Rain tour. All right. Madonna was touring her first record. Michael Jackson is with the Jacksons in the Victory Tour. Post Thriller, by the way. Half the concert is like Thriller and Off the Wall, basically. Yeah. And then Jackson's stuff after that. And mostly the disco era. You had Van Halen with 1984.
Yeah.
You had Men at Work, Huey Lewis and the News, let alone Quiet Riot, maybe. You had, you know what I mean? Like Ozzy Osbourne. Like, that just doesn't happen now.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, think about it. Just those artists, let alone Culture Club. I don't know. You know, like, just go down the list. It's like you just don't have that anymore. So it's fascinating to me. And I just went down this rabbit hole of just watching these old shows. I watched a couple old Prince shows, too, from like the early 80s, like 1981, you know, and it's just it seems like what was so risque then now is basically hardly anything now because we've seen everything. People are not scared to get naked now, you know. But back then, you know, wearing high heels and you know, underwear was like, oh my God, you know, shocking, you know. But there's just nothing like that now. So I don't know. I just wanted to talk about that because it was like, man, I spent a few hours just sitting there listening and dancing to music. And speaking of which, hair metal, there you go. Put that guy back up there. A little cold Slither. My set is out at 3-star draws right now. Actually, have been working, so unable to go get them, but. I love them.
I have a custom version of this guy that I made also that I did a cold Slither set when I had Buzzer Ripper and Torch, the first versions of them, and I put them all in a scene doing that whole thing. It's pretty cool.
Maximum Warp is also here. What's up, Maximum Warp? And Shane, right? Like very little stage production, or there's like 15 dancers and one artist. You know, I don't know. It's so different, and I guess some of it comes across as like old guy, get off my lawn kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I get that. That's always happened. Every generation, it always happens. You look back and think
for sure.
What you grew up on
we
was
are
the
of
best.
That age. We are of that age.
And yeah, Todd, I agree. Most people, it's not just auto-tune. Most people lip sync now, and I just watched a short.
They so it's not even
pitifully faking it.
It's not even the artist who's saying they want to do this. It's the company saying you can't do this.
Yeah, you can't sing.
We want the best performance, and we don't want any sound interruptions or anything. So you're gonna lip sync this,
right?
And you watch the Macy's Day Parade, and the vast majority of those are lip synced, if not all of them.
Oh no, they have been for decades.
All
the stage play, the Broadway stuff they do, it's all, you know.
You know what my favorite Pepsi commercial probably was?
Cindy Crawford?
Well, that was a good one. But I didn't like Diet Coke, and she did Diet Coke, right?
Maybe you're right. Maybe it was a Coke commercial.
But it was the Alfonso Ribeiro premiere commercial when he comes out. Like his introduction to the world was in this Pepsi commercial. And him dancing with Michael. And that was
that not the commercial Michael's hair got burned on? Because as this was brought up before I get to that, Bobby Willis's Cold Slither took the world by storm. I worked with a guy, had a singer in a band. He had fake hair, and he looked like Rod Stewart. And I'll never forget, his name was Larry Elkins. And we were playing a gig, and he's like, I'll never forget it. He's like, Larry Elkins is too good to play in this podunk town. Larry Elkins took the world by storm. And it was like, what the fuck? You're like 50 years old playing in a cover band. You didn't take anybody by storm. But yes, Cold Slither did take the world by storm.
The only issue that I really have is the fact that this should be a vertical hinge. This one's a vertical hinge. This one should be a vertical hinge.
Oh yeah, I got you.
If that was a vertical hinge, right. I think he'd be able to drum perfect.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, that tour not so much, but as Tony's Fig says, yes, it was a Pepsi commercial, and he subsequently had to wear wigs. Actually, he had to wear wigs throughout, and even on tour. And you know, if you try to look closely, you might be able to spot it in some of the shows. But anyway, what's up, Dreadnought K6? Anyway, it's just I don't know. It's just one of those things like the get off my lawn kind of thing. But when you look at music as a whole, sure, we can find some things we probably like and some new
Well,
groups that we're like, try to turn people onto. But
yeah,
man, that's
what I will tell you
a lot of
is
groups
that
to run back then.
if the current generation of 20 somethings, if they're not into Taylor Swift, they're into 80s, 70s, 80s, and 90s music.
My son does not care for he does not care for new music at all. Now he did recently get into listening to Kanye, but
Okay.
what's funny about that is it was through Instagram Reels.
Yeah.
It's not like he's listening to the whole song.
Right.
It's not like he's listening to the album. He's getting snippets of the song that he then pieces together. So
You,
it's such a weird way to consume music to me.
you know what rabbit hole I've gone down recently? And it just blew me away that I would go down this YouTube rabbit hole with everything else I got going on. But every now and then I'd find one of these videos and I click on it and watch it. And these people who have never heard a song before and they listen to it for the first time, so supposedly whatever, because their friends told them to recommended it, and how their mouths drop, and you see these rappers or these music teachers and they're listening to Metallica and they're like discovering it for the first time. The lyrical,
Oh yeah, you see the videos of the music teacher or
yeah,
vocal teacher singer, and they're like hearing Steve Perry for the first time or some shit
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I was specifically I was seeing people listen to Metallica, like Master Puppets for the
Ride the
first time.
Lightning or something like that. Yeah.
Well, so Master Puppets and One were the ones that I went down recently,
Okay.
and how people like were just debating what it was, and I saw the lyrics come across the screen like an AI lyric or whatever, and I said, nope, those are wrong. I actually have the lyric sheet over here.
Oh
Those are
sure.
wrong. But anyway, they were discussing the meaning of it, and then the lyrical teacher was like going off on One, how much she like was blown away by the musical genius and lyrical parts of it and everything that were in that song. And that was, as a teenager, One was probably my favorite song for the longest amount of time, but Ride the Lightning was probably my favorite album from that era.
I definitely remember as a kid when it caught fire and look, I was very much into Run DMC, the Beastie Boys, LL
Oh yeah.
Cool J. This was at a time when I was just starting to play drums, but I also was still into like pop music phase as a
Yeah.
kid. And so it wasn't until like a year or two later when I really started focusing in on the drums that I started to focus in on bands and rock and roll more and more, and kind of let go. And then West Coast rap came in, all that kind of stuff, and then started paying attention to bands like Metallica, but Van Halen even more so, and
Yeah.
whatever rock bands at the time. But it's interesting because for me at that time it was counterculture,
Mm-hmm.
like Metallica to me,
Yeah.
right? It was like counterculture. Even Guns N' Roses
Oh
felt
yeah.
like counterculture. Like our friend went away for the summer and came back, and he had a Guns N' Roses
Yeah.
T-shirt, and his cousin
You
got
know
him
when
into it, and
Guns
we
N'
were like,
Roses
"Who the hell is that?"
do you know when Guns N' Roses became uncool?
It had to be after November Rain, maybe.
Okay, so well, yeah, okay, so November Rain is a ripoff of Led Zeppelin riff, but anyway, is when Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 came out, 1992.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
you've got Terminator 2 comes out, and Eddie Furlong's wearing the T-shirt, right?
yes. You could be
And
mine.
You Could Be Mine. And so they've got that playing in it, and then the Canadian Guns and Metallica tour comes up, and James Hetfield steps in the wrong place, so the pyros went off at the wrong time, whatever. He got lit up on fire, got pulled
Yeah.
off stage, and Axl Rose refused to go on stage and perform. He could have saved the day, but he refused to go on stage to be upstaged by what happened to James. And so Canada rioted. The Canadians rioted. And at that point, I was like, I was done with Guns N' Roses, because I realized that every song on Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 is ripped off. It's either a cover or it's a ripoff of
Don't
another
you
song.
cry tonight. You like Don't You Cry?
I mean, I like the songs. Don't get
I'll
me
tell you
wrong.
what, I'm not gonna lie to
And you know
you.
what? Knocking on Heaven's Door, I probably like Axel's version better, but
I do
still.
too. I'm okay with it. So Live and Let Die.
I'm not saying it wasn't good music. I'm
No,
just saying that I caught the fact that they had lifted riffs from
yes,
everybody.
I'm actually not arguing with you at all. I was disappointed by Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. I thought
Yeah.
there were some good songs, and then I thought, why are they doing all these covers? But it's something
Yep.
they'd always done, right? Mr. Brownstone and whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, totally different. I will say this, and I know you guys probably didn't come to hear us wax quizzical about music,
Music.
and
Yeah. Right.
maybe you did. And actually, who gives a shit, really? Because I mean, we talk about whatever we want, really. I mean, it's slow in the movie world and whatever. We talk about whatever we want to. And music is honestly for me one of the top two passions that I have: music and sports. But
Yeah.
um, that was the last time, really and truly, people lined up around the record store
Yeah.
to buy an album on
Absolutely.
the first day. It set records. People lined up around the block, around
Yep.
the music stores, Tower Records, to be the first ones to purchase the albums and or cassette tapes. And after that, that's something that really started to die out. And you can look up pictures of it, of release day, album release day, Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, and you
Yep.
can look at the crowds, and it's pretty fascinating actually. And
Oh
it's
yeah.
kind of also sad to
Mm.
see where we're at now with
Yep.
the release of new music. How do people get excited for products, even
Yep.
movies,
Well,
television shows? How do we get
Austin City
excited?
Limits and the other music
Oh
festivals,
man,
they're pretty much shutting down. They can't survive
Monterey,
without the corporate stuff. And
right.
there's nobody coming to see the new music that's coming out, and it really is sad.
I remember looking and watching, Stevie Ray Vaughan
Oh man,
on
that
Austin
guy was
City Limits
amazing. That guy
or
was
at the
amazing.
jazz festivals, and just being
True Texan.
mesmerized by this guy. Oh yeah. And so it is, and again, even with movies, even with TV, and it kind of somewhat ties into what we're going to talk about in a little bit, which is like, are people actually excited for the Doomsday and this new phase, or are we really in a malaise in our superhero movies? Like there's a new normal, which is not
Yeah.
$1 billion. It's
Yep.
half a billion. If I don't even know if Fantastic Four is going to get there worldwide. They're at
Nope.
$435 million, dude.
Worldwide.
Worldwide,
They're not
that's
going to make 600.
wild.
They're not going to make 600 million.
And I enjoyed it. I
Hey,
enjoyed the film.
yeah, me too.
I really did, but obviously that doesn't mean shit, right?
Yeah.
And Punk says, you go and tell him how they are wrong, Matthew. I know he's probably talking about Metallica at the
Well,
time.
no, the music people and what they're saying
Oh,
about
yeah,
stuff. It's like,
yeah,
I'm not going to
yeah.
tell music people nothing. I don't know nothing about music.
And yes, Shane, you are correct. Axel was notorious for making crowds wait an hour and a half to 2 hours. And
He wanted. Whoa, where'd you go? Uh-oh, lost him. Yeah, he wanted to uh, make the crowd anticipate, waiting for him to come up. Carlos, yeah, I never actually got to go to those shows. I wish I did, but my buddies had the t-shirts for it, and we talked about it a lot. I so wanted to go to that show when it was in Dallas or thereabouts. Um, but yeah, music is. I mean, there's a lot of music that I like. I like a lot of different types of music, but there's some core things that really affected me. One of the other ones that I saw was a person talking about Pantera, and he was waxing poetical about Pantera. And I'm like, okay, I liked Pantera, but you're giving them way too much credit about what they did in the metal industry, because most of what they did was stolen from Megadeth or Metallica. He's not truly back just yet, but I know we're going to talk about movies and TV soon enough. We got to look over the box office real quick and show you how everybody's doing there. And then hey Punk, this one's for you, right? My cover girl, she's got her snowcat early, right? So she's ready to go with the snowcat. Yeah, he's trying to fix his stuff, whatever that is. Uh, technical difficulties. He's been having some internet problems, so popping in and out is just kind of one of those things that happens from time to time. Um, this part of that set, I mean, I love that Snake Eyes figure. Don't get me wrong, but this polar bear is awesome. I mean, he's got so much personality. He's super fun.
Okay, check 1, 2. Hey, listen. Can you hear me? Shake your
Yep.
head, yes or no. Okay.
Yep.
I don't have anything plugged into my phone right now. My computer just restarted. It
Okay.
literally just shut down and restarted. So I'm gonna let it restart, reboot, punch it back up, and I'll join you here in just a second. I don't know why it just shut down and restarted on me.
All
So
right.
I'll be right back. Okay.
All righty. I don't know if you guys have any interest in it or not, but I did watch the first part on Netflix of Wednesday of season 2. I thought it was pretty darn good. It's got a lot of that quirky humor that we like from the Addams Family, and they're bringing that to the show. And with Christina Ricci and Catherine Zeta-Jones and everybody else in that show, it's pretty good. I think Jenna Ortega is doing a really great job with it. I like how they're incorporating all the different monster types or whatever types in there. Callbacks to the first season a little bit. There was an actor that was canceled on the show, so he's just kind of written off the show, and he just moved away. So they don't have to bring that part up, I guess, whatever. But that's been I think if you're at all interested in the Addams Family, that kind of stuff, that's worth a watch. They just dropped 4 episodes of it, and then in a couple more weeks they'll drop the other 4. We're trying to back them. Yeah, I mean, Allison Change was awesome. They had a lot of good stuff. Jenny Ortega is a very humble actress. Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about her. I just think that she's doing a good job of playing the part. Good. Going back to Pantera, Phil only yelled. He was not a singer. I mean, it is what it is, right? They had some very talented members of that group for sure. That kind of helped keep it going. Yeah, I mean, of course, Punk. Of course, she's going to yell at you because you're supposed to watch it together, right? It's a family thing. My daughter decided that she didn't want to see this season because things are starting to scare her. So she didn't. She thought she was going to get scared by it, so she didn't want to see it. Like it's fun. It's definitely worth it. Yes, we will talk about that a little bit later when Pop comes back. I've watched the first episode. Pop has seen half or part of the first episode. We're going to talk about it a little bit. Spoiler alert. When you're done here tonight or tomorrow, go watch it.
There we
go. Because it'll be. I mean,
man,
I'm entertained so far. We'll see. There's some, red flag buzzwords for Dreadnought K6 if you're listening to that. But I think overall the storyline will be interesting, and we'll talk about it a little bit later.
Okay, you hear me?
Yep.
Man, that was weird. Yeah, just all of a sudden, decided it was gonna reset. It's like, okay, well, I don't have an update scheduled. Maybe it was an unscheduled update, and it just said, "Fuck you."
Yeah, it's like we're doing it now. We're doing it live.
Right. Maybe. I mean, it's so weird. It's a problem I've had intermittently with this thing, and I cannot drill it down. And that at the same time, I see a lot of people I like to watch, and they are like, yeah, well, StreamYard's acting stupid again.
Well, that's all right. I got to talk a little bit about Wednesday, and because I know that you haven't seen that or anything yet, so. Or I don't even know if you're interested or not, but I got to talk about that a little bit. And then somebody brought up Alien Earth, so I said we'll circle back around to that.
We are. So I tell you what, let's bang out a top 10 real quick, okay? Because every week we at least go over the numbers, so let's just knock them out. Okay, there's not a lot to see here, like Don Knotts, right? Not nothing to see here, folks. Weapons comes in at number 1, 4 days in release, 48 million nationwide. It is killing it, and it is a movie I think I want to go see, and I will hope to have a review for it and encourage everybody else to see it from what I've heard.
Yeah, and look at that box office on opening weekend right there. So
that's awesome.
Just so we're aware, their production budget was less than what they made opening weekend. So there's a real good chance that this movie is going to be very profitable.
Yeah.
And as another Warner Brothers movie, there are a bunch of Warner Brothers movies that are making profits right now, but they were all very low budget movies. So that's another interesting topic.
Again, it's a way to get other stuff made.
Exactly.
It's how you make money.
Yeah.
It is how you make money. And I'm not kidding. I'm pretty excited to go see this because the people I watch, people I trust, people I read,
I'm with you.
They're all on board. So and look, Freakier Friday, people are going to see this. It's classic Disney type fare. Nothing crazy, but you know what you're getting into. It's a body switch movie. You've seen a million of them, right?
Well, I mean, how many times has Disney made this movie, right?
Yes,
I mean, they keep making it again and again.
But it works.
And
people like to see the old person go young and the young person get old and deal with that premise. And now you add grandchildren into the mix.
Yeah.
And
now you know what my favorite version of that is?
What's that?
It was the the Jumanji 2 with The Rock and Kevin Hart. So the second one that The Rock and Kevin Hart did.
Was Karen Gillan in that one too?
Karen Gillan. Oh yeah, definitely.
Fire.
In that with Jack Black. They play the video game characters, but Danny DeVito and Danny Glover were two of the characters that got swapped into video game bodies. So these actors had to try and be old crotchety versions of Danny DeVito and Danny Glover, and I thought they did an amazing job with that. That was my favorite body swap movie because it was a video game thing, and it speaks to me more in my generation.
I get that. I get that for sure. And want to say hey to Frank Doom you, by the way. What's up, Frank? Good to see you, buddy. It's I just think it's an easy premise. I think it's you just keep it by the numbers. Just keep it by the numbers. You don't have to do anything crazy. Just keep it by the numbers. It works. Fantastic Four, First Steps at number 3, but again, hasn't even made 450 million worldwide. I don't think it's going to hit 500. That's a disaster. That's a disaster.
What was the drop off from last weekend?
Oh, it was. I mean, if you're looking at from last week, it's 62%. It was probably 70 almost the week before.
Well, I was going to say the first weekend drop off was like 67%. So it's been in the 60s for drop off each weekend. It's done. It's done.
Yeah, no, it is. You're right. It is done. And that comment by not Rachel. I saw Weapons with my son, not a movie I would have chosen to see, but enjoyed it. And I think the word of mouth for that movie is going to get around, and I think it's going to cause it to have some legs for sure.
I think so too. I hope so because movies like that need our attention.
And it's not schlocky horror.
Right.
Like The Nun or Conjuring or the same old jump scare.
Yeah, because the next Conjuring movie's coming out too. I'm all for going to the movies and really supporting the movies that really need to be supported. Right. I mean, I liked the Naked Gun movie. I thought that was fun. And I thought that promo commercial was just the best. That was one of my favorite promo commercials.
Yeah, we watched that.
For one movie ticket a week, you can save a comedy.
Right. Yeah, that's good, man. And I've encouraged people to go see it. I knew it wasn't going to do like gangbusters and be some breakout thing, but it's like we need more comedies made, and we need more movies made that are low to medium budget range that are just quality flicks, and hopefully that will start getting, that will be the new trend. I'm really hoping it is.
Well, Superman. If we can allow comedies to be made again, then that's going to be the cheap alternative that's going to be put out into theaters, and it'll make $120 million, and you spent $25-30 million on it, so it's profitable, right?
Profit is what it's all about, and the budgets have to come down.
The budgets have to come down. Yeah.
Superman at number 5, Naked Gun at number 6, Jurassic World After Rebirth at number 7. Together, a movie that is it's a body horror movie.
Yeah.
It does have a interesting premise.
There's some interesting things in there, but
I wouldn't mind seeing it, but there probably are some moments in there that I'm sure would make me squirm
for
quite a bit. But I've heard it's pretty wild, and if you're into horror, it's worth your time. F1 still hanging around. Still hanging
going
around.
Back into IMAX too.
Into IMAX, you're right.
Go check it out in IMAX or go check it out again. F1 is probably one of the best movies of the year. So I would say go see that one.
And then Sketch. I watched the Corridor Crew, they're the special effects guys on YouTube. You've probably seen them. It's like, FX crew looks at, bad and good CGI effects, number 31 or whatever. But they're huge. They have a huge following. And they do special effects in Hollywood and other stuff. And they had the guy who directed and came up with the Sketch movie. It was his idea, his creation. And they had him on, and he's actually a special effects guy. But it's a little girl who's processing grief, and she does that by drawing sketches of monsters and stuff. And these monsters come to life, and they kind of terrorize her town, so to speak. Cute little movie, nothing harmful, but looks pretty neat. Yeah, looks pretty neat.
Shane, put your phone down. No DWT, no driving while texting. So be safe.
That's right. Unless I still wish technology was at a point where you could be listening to a live stream and you could say phone, live chat or chat, and then just speak it and then send it. You still have to touch something if you want to do a speech.
Yeah, well,
chat, right?
Yeah, but there's buttons on your card that can manipulate that. But in any case, it's still a distraction from driving. It's still a distraction.
So I want to know who is interested in the King of the Hill reboot.
Nope.
Is anybody actually interested in? Like, I actually enjoyed the first show.
You know what? I never
thought it was
got into it.
Funny.
I think it's funny. I think it's funny that it's Garland and Arlington thrown together into Arlen, Texas, and
right.
I mean, so much about this is Texas, and I love that about it. But I never really got into the show, and haven't ever really cared about it. But I thought it was funny, parts of it that I saw.
I used to watch the shit out of it. I'm not gonna lie. I found it was actually quite funny, and
yeah.
And if they do this reboot, and it's out now, in the same flair as they did the first one, I do think it will be successful. What I enjoy about this headline, though, is King of the Hill revival hits 4.4 million views in 1 week. Disney's biggest adult animated premiere in 5 years. That's because Disney just goes and buys shit.
Yeah.
They don't make it. It's not their they just go and buy properties. So that headline is so misleading, and it's such a shill headline for Disney that, oh, look out. Disney's getting into adult content. Well, they're rolling Hulu up into Disney Plus.
Because Hulu is successful and Disney Plus is not.
So now Disney Plus is just saying, hey, you know what? We're doing adult shit now, right? We're gonna just do adult shit, and that's we're just gonna bring it on there, and again probably put it under that Hulu label, but it's still gonna be Disney Plus.
It won't be. It's all under the Disney Plus label. That's why they're rolling it all under there, which is dumb. Keeping the labels separate is important, right? Because it denotes a different type of content that you can put on there. Aliens and Predator belong on Hulu, not on Disney Plus.
Well, where I found Alien Earth?
Well, yeah, it is on Hulu.
I went to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And then on the homepage, it has a little square that says Hulu. Yeah. And I went on Hulu, and then it took me to Alien Earth.
Yeah.
So it's already the integration, right? The cross-pollination.
Oh, yeah. I feel like Dreadnought K6 is in the past.
Yeah. I mean, look.
Let's catch up, man. Catch up.
Maybe. It could be. Although I do appreciate, look, Dale's dead, Redcorn. John Redcorn, look, I don't know all the lore. Again, if I started watching it now, the new one, I would probably be like, hey, where's so-and-so? Where's so? But, that happens to a lot of shows, doesn't it? Like, it's nothing that's that crazy unusual. It's nothing that's, just, I don't know. To me, it's, again, if it's as funny as the first show, the first run, I would be down to watch it because I actually did enjoy it.
If Mike Judge is behind it, there's a good chance of that still happening because he still has a sense of humor. So,
Did we? I don't think we went over this story last week, and I kind of want to ask you about this. Um, so we may have barely touched on it, but Marvel and their next moves for Black Panther 3, Young X-Men cast, is to try to cast people that are not well known, to try to keep the costs down. And they're not as concerned about Blade and Deadpool 4 because they know those are going to cost more money.
Yeah.
And they're going to recast after Doomsday. They're going to recast the X-Men, right? They're going to give these old actors their little due. They're going to trot them out, give them a few lines, kill them off, whatever that means. And then they're going to recast aggressively.
Yeah, well, they
X-Men
should have already
possibly
done that.
Avengers.
They should have already aggressively recast everyone, because that would be a huge talking point to generate all kinds of talk about Doomsday or the next movie or whatever, if they were already talking about the recasts. I don't know. They're just making dumb decisions. They're planning stuff out 2 years from now that who knows if it's going to hit, right? We can talk about Warner Brothers and the Batman and the stuff that's going on with that. Man, there's all kinds of nonsense going on right now.
I don't even know what to believe about that, because you have James Gunn on one side.
He's lying. He's lying through the side of his mouth about everything that's going on right now with the box office and everything else. He either doesn't know finances or is convinced that he does. And either way, he's wrong. He's lying to people, and people just caught him on it because he was just saying, "Oh no, we're not doing that soon. We're not releasing this to VOD that soon." And guess what? It's Friday. So
yeah, Friday. You're going to be able to stream Superman on Friday.
Yeah.
And look, they're going to try to grab whatever they can grab. I don't think it's going to make Warner Brothers, and no one's just signing up to go watch Superman for their service, right? I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Disney in a way. It's like when Captain America came out on VOD, were people just clamoring to get Disney Plus so they could go watch that Captain America movie that bombed?
Nobody's still watched it. Nobody's watched it. And even my wife is like, she kind of has an interest to see the Thunderbolts movie. She has no interest in seeing the Captain America movie. I'm like, yeah, because it's not Captain America.
Yeah, and look, Bo DeMayo has some thoughts on that. We're going to get into that in a second, because I think these tweets that he made are quite interesting, and we'll kind of give his history of who he is in relation to
exactly.
To
he's going after fans again.
Oh, and well, he's scorched earth thing. He's scorched earth is what he's doing. He's going after executives. He's going after creatives. He's going after fans. But I didn't see the fan part of it as much. Dreadnought, hey, I'm with you, man.
There's some backhands against fans for sure.
I think, and again, we'll talk about it here in just a little bit. I don't know that there's a recovery method. I really don't. And I think through mismanagement, through agenda, I think that was part of it. And whether people want to admit that or not, you want to recognize that or not, that's fine. But the box office receipts will tell you the tale of the tape.
Tale of the tape.
It just does. And regardless of COVID, because Spider-Man proved
COVID was over.
You know what I mean? Like, there were certain movies that proved that people would still go to the theater even though they were being told to stay away.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, I hear you, Dreadnought, as far as that, and I'm not too far off on that myself either.
Yeah.
So just kind of looking at this, it's talking about, there's a reset of what a hit is. I don't see them consistently hitting 1 billion as before, without China. With Disney Plus exposure post-COVID, without megastars, says one top agent who represents several clients in the MCU. China used Marvel, Disney, and the U.S. film industry to seed their own, and now they're not going to see the movies. China's staying away from a lot of the U.S. movies. And
the buzz is that the Chinese cinema is rocking and rolling, and they're making all kinds of money.
Right.
But it's a communist country, so you can't believe a word that they say. But at the same time, they're producing a bunch of their own films now, and they don't care about American cinema anymore.
Right.
Because American cinema's been shit for about 10 years.
And are there certain topics over there that they're fine with exploring? Sure. But there's a lot of topics they're not okay with exploring. And that includes a lot of
whether it's the government or the people, I don't know, but there's a lot of topics they don't want to discuss. For sure.
So, that's going to factor in. Regardless of if you edit your movie or not, people are not stupid.
Yep.
They're just not. So, it says right here, Doomsday is scheduled to open December 18th, 2026. That may get delayed, dude.
So it was supposed to be a summer release, and then they moved it to December. So they've already delayed it once. And we know that they just got a new signing this week or thereabouts. They're announcing that the signing was done this week. We'll see.
It's interesting to me. I still think they're going to break it up into 3 movies to milk it as much as they can. We'll find out. I don't know.
People are people. People are going to do what people do. People are manipulated by all kinds of different sources.
Oh yeah, Bobby. Yeah, I hear you, Bobby. I still see people here in Nashville, man. Woody Triple Deuce, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. As always, hanging out.
I saw somebody wearing like a hazmat suit to Walmart the other day.
Oh no, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's here in Texas. It doesn't happen often here, but there's still some.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're in a state definitely where you don't see as much of it, but it talks about obviously the rest of this year and the next year with Spider-Man July 31st, followed by Doomsday in December, Avengers Secret Wars in December 2027.
Did you hear what was supposed to come out around the same time as the Spider-Man movie?
I don't know.
So the same month, within a week or so, just like the Superman Fantastic Four thing,
right?
It's going to be Supergirl and Spider-Man, and the Gun Bros.
Really?
The Gun Bros are going hard, saying, "Oh, we're going to kill Spider-Man." I'm like, you guys are dumb.
It's not going to happen.
You're dumb as F.
Spider-Man is the most recognizable.
Yep,
hero,
absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, right now, Spider-Man is probably the most popular superhero in the world.
I absolutely agree. 100%.
And every movie that they've made with Spider-Man has, especially recently, has been over $1 billion, right? And you're putting this up against Supergirl, a subsidiary character of a main character who can't even break can barely break $600 million at the box office worldwide. Not even within the United States. No, I'm sorry. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. What's up? 3-Star Draw says, what's up? I was watching the first episode of Alien Earth.
Did you finish the first episode? I finished the first episode. Haven't watched the second one yet.
Well, we can talk a little bit about that before we get into Bo DeMayo, because I want to kind of go into depth into his tweets, because I do think you guys will find this a bit interesting in his. Speaking of the inner workings of meeting with Kevin Feige and the Marvel team and going over scripts and going through ideas.
Yep.
And Bo DeMayo was the basically the one who got the X-Men 97 project back on the ground, was writing the episodes, creating the storylines, and then a day before it premiered, 2 days before it premiered, he got fired by Disney.
Yeah.
Now he is a gay black man, and he does have a fans channel.
Yeah.
But to my knowledge, it wasn't anything absurdly, he liked to pose without a shirt a lot. He liked to.
Disney's all about that, so I don't know what the context.
That's what I know. I don't know what happened.
I don't know what the context of that was.
He got let go, though, but right before X-Men 97 came out. He's the one that really was at the helm of that project, and it's actually praised quite a bit. A lot of people actually
of people like it. And I thought it was okay. It didn't feel like the 90s X-Men to me, but a lot of people thought that it did and loved it, and he was spearheading a lot of that. And, for all intents and purposes, he did a good job with it, and they canned him for whatever.
Yeah, I watched it. It didn't quite for me, meet up those expectations, but I think it's so difficult now for that to be the case, for things to meet those expectations. But he had a 2-season plan. And I'm completing 2 seasons or having the outline, Bobby, may have been, really part of that. I don't know that he was able to complete 2 seasons. He probably had 2 completed seasons down.
Well, so the way this bullshit happens these days is they basically make a full season of something and then they say we're going to chop it in half and make this 2 seasons. So he probably actually did work on most of what would be considered season 2, because that's just the way that they make things these days. Three Star had a question there for a second.
Yeah. Let me see here. Let me go back up. This is Matthew. I forgot to send it to you, but have you guys talked about Good Boy at all?
Now, do you know about Good Boy?
Are we talking about the drink?
No. There's a movie called Good Boy. It's a horror movie based on the dog's perspective.
I have not.
No, we should watch the trailer for it.
Nor did I not. Okay, well, I will look the trailer up and then let me.
We should watch the trailer for it because it's something that I think. I mean, I love dogs and I don't want anything to happen to the dog.
Yeah,
I think that's the point of this, right? But at the same time, I think it would be funny at the same time to watch.
I like this. Let me go to it and save it. And
3 Star, don't worry about it, man. I mean, we're talking about whatever tonight.
Yeah, tonight is not I don't have another Marvel list. Tonight is a little light because it's just end of summer. It is August. There's a lot of movies that get dumped into August that aren't worth a shit.
Yeah.
And so
Wait, when is Tron Ares coming out?
I don't know. I can look it up.
It is this fall. It's in the dead season.
I was gonna say.
It's in the dead season. Right unfortunately, now. Because I'm like, I want to see that.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, monster or or weapons rather. My bad. And then definitely.
Weapons. Yeah, I got to see weapons.
Okay. All right. I got it saved. So we'll take a look at that here in a little bit.
All right.
Okay, so back out of that. So let me bring this up because I want to read this and I want you guys to kind of hear this because, again, Bo DeMayo, if you don't know, and I'll tell you what, really quickly, I will bring up just a profile picture so you guys can get an idea who this is and what he's done. This guy is, again, he was the one that was put in charge of bringing the X-Men 97 to life, and yes, he has his own kind of fan channel. It's, to my knowledge, it's really not a X-rated channel in that way. He likes to pose, without a shirt and stuff like that. But I don't think it's anything really crazy. But yeah, he was the one that was just helming the X-Men 97 and really has had a lot of critical acclaim. A lot of people have liked it. So a few days ago on Twitter, he posted this, and I'll see if I can get it a little bit fat. There we go. Okay. So this is what he said. He said, to those asking why I'm not so hard on Superman, the answer is I've never worked with Gunn or DC. Like Matt Shankman and the writers of Fantastic Four, I've sat in the creative meetings at Marvel Studios. They're horrible. You basically sit in a room with Kevin Feige and Lou D'Esposito and try to pitch your movie while also realizing that Kevin just wants you to dictate his rushed thoughts. Victoria Alonso, who had since been let go. Mm-hmm. Victoria used to be in these, but Kevin and Lou had her so mistreated her that in one of my Blade meetings, she just showed up with sugar cookies she'd baked to help improve morale. You're even told not to try to pitch ideas from the comics because Lou isn't a big comic guy and it'll turn him off. You sit and talk about craft and story and characters only to have Kevin and Lou say, yeah, well, all we need to do is make sure it's fun. There's no spark. There's no vision. Marvel is a slaughterhouse factory where you watch fresh meat get spoiled as it slowly makes its way through the assembly gears. Mediocre thinking, weird hatred for their own product. Now, we talked about this next part. This is why, and this is him. This is why Rob Liefeld creator of
Oh
Deadpool,
man, Rob's been on a tear.
Yeah. And Rob Liefeld, he says, this is why Rob isn't just some bitter old man. Talking about the comic book writers is met with open contempt at Marvel. Absolutely. I had to fight to get the Lee Walls involved on X-Men 97, and even then the dismissive news with which Dana Vasquez Eberhardt spoke about them, basically telling me the OG creators were meant to be seen, not heard, to appease fans. I wanted to co-write an episode with them, and that was Dana's response. I even remember wanting to talk to Chris Claremont and being shut down, or wanting Joe Madureira, I'm so that's right, to do posters, just as I was scolded for being too friendly with fans or coming off too much as one. So we'll pause right there for a second.
They hate you. They hate us.
Hate comic fans, they hate the OG fans, and they hate anyone who wants to bring source material and stay true to that source material as a creative. They do not want them working on the projects.
Yeah, which is why that they have failed for the last 7 years, 8 years. They named their movies after source material, and they did well when it was even loosely representative of the source material. They did well with those movies.
So this is why, and that's true. She does, because they brought back the voice actors, and they're much older now, of course, 97 to now. I mean, come on.
No,
but
I
this
get
is
that.
why when we talk about this stuff, and when we say this stuff, this is before anybody like here is writing this out. Someone who's been in the war rooms, right? And we talk about this stuff. We talk about they don't want to use the source material. They don't want to pay the comic writers. They want to bastardize their stories. They want to put their own thumbprint on it. They hate the fans. They hate the material. It's like the Witcher series.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill was vilified because he wanted to stay true to the source material.
Well, I just heard somebody today say that Henry Cavill allowed the violations of source material and was okay with some of it. And I'm like, I know how much he fights for source material.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
And I'm like, if you're going after tough. Henry for that's a little rough. But
right. And I
understand some allowances need to be made from adaptations. There's an adaptation process, and I get that. But you still have to have the heart of the material that's there. And they didn't in The Witcher, and that's why it ended up failing as hard as it did.
And I just feel like in this instance, I think we've noticed that, and really quickly, you can kind of answer that. I think we've noticed that the most recent Marvel movies have really strayed way far off from any kind of really good storytelling that keeps you engaged.
Yeah.
And you notice it, I notice it, you notice it, the audience notice it. There's something wrong. There's something weird. It doesn't fit. There's
weird
phrases that are said in the middle of a movie that have nothing to do with anything, but they're just said for some reason. There's all kinds of stuff. But on top of that, the people who make these movies that have been making billions of dollars, they fucking hate you.
Yep.
They hate you. They detest you if you do like the comics.
So
they hate that shit.
Gary Beekler brought this up again in conversation. Is like we saw this happen in the 90s, early 2000s, and the comic book industry did this. Is that they turned on the fan base. They said, "Screw the fans. We don't write these for the fans. We're artists, and we do what we want to do, and we get our paycheck." So they're happy because the artist gets their paycheck. But if the books don't sell, then the company can't write that paycheck again for the next person. So you're destroying people's futures when you do stuff like this. And I understand you don't want anything to be corporate mishmash, but you do need to appeal to a large base if you're going to make a success of something that is a part of a corporation, because a corporation is only bent on the next success, and you have to appeal to the most people that you can. And by doing your niche indie project and getting paid a ton of money for it and expecting $1 billion return at the box office or whatever it happens to be, they are demanding, because in the comic books in the 90s, they sold 200,000 copies. Now they're barely making 50,000 or even 20,000, sometimes even not even
Right.
10,000 copies are sold or actually sold. The comic book stores buy them. And that's why Diamond blew up. This whole industry is based on false premise. And the whole idea, I love the idea of the artist and the artist working, but the artist has to capitulate to the audience to some degree, unless they want to live in obscurity in the niche and on the fringe and doing their thing. And that's fine. You can do that because there's always a market for that, but it's a different market.
It's just interesting because I know you and I definitely, keeping up with a lot of this stuff, and you hear all these things, right? You hear people who do have inside sources, and and a lot of things they talk about end up, obviously coming true with certain films, and you read something like these meetings, and you can only imagine people coming in with ideas that are fresh and like really good and something that would hook people, and they're told like no, we need some fight scenes, we've already got that CGI'd, and we just really need it just to be fun. We don't care, the story doesn't matter. But that's what got Marvel to where it was by Endgame, because the story was interesting. The story mattered, right?
The story mattered. Yeah, they're negating their fan base. Okay, so here's the deal. The people who have loved this for so long are the people that are going to promote it the most. Yeah. And if they're promoting it and it's a good movie, then more and more people are going to see it, because the people that love it are going to see it, and they're going to tell 10 other people to go see it. And then those 10 other people are going to tell other people to go see it because it was good, and then you get the normie audience involved with it too. You have to appease the niche fan base. Otherwise, you will not grow the brand. That's the way it's always been. And when they forgot that, every time the creators forget their fan base, then their fan base disappears. It drops off. It cuts by 50% each time you make that deviation from it. And that's why nobody watches Doctor Who anymore, right? Because Doctor Who, Doctor Who in the early 2000s, when it came back, ramped up popularity until the 50th anniversary. And then after the 50th anniversary, started dropping off because they put people in charge who wanted to subvert expectations of the fan base, and they ran their fan base off. And then there was nobody to support it or promote it.
And look, I think subversion can be
has
good
a place.
It
has a place.
And it creates a certain excitement or an unknown entity quantity into the storytelling.
Yes.
But for the most part, most people they do want to feel safe in knowing that these things make sense to them, and that yes, you can have challenges and you can have unknown variables, but people still need just inherently to have stories that revolve around A, B, C plots that make sense, and they have resolutions, and they don't focus on they're timeless in a way, right?
Right. They have to be
timeless. Dating things by current day, it stands out like a sore thumb.
But you can't.
It's not timeless anymore.
You can address those things, but it has to be within the framework of the universe that has already been defined.
Right.
If it is within that framework, then it can work. But if you're stretching the boundaries of that framework, like they've done with Kurtzman's Star Trek, with what they've done with Chibnall, Doctor Who, and beyond, and what they've done with everything else in
the Marvel TV projects, the movies as well. They've done that. They've gone out of their way to include things that don't serve a purpose in the story.
That's right. Yeah.
And but nonetheless, so as far as Beau DeMayo, right? Again, he got let go right before X-Men 97, the animated series came out. And he also was involved in the Blade discussions.
Yes.
He was involved in some other issues of like Moon Knight even, and some other shows.
I can only imagine what he said about Moon Knight, because man, that show had so much potential and they just flushed it down the toilet.
So it seemed like he was kind of the next golden boy of maybe kind of pushing this universe into whatever next phase, not only in animated but in television and movie possibly.
Yeah.
So so there's something else that he shares.
Yeah.
He says, this is an example of a decent one. He said, the discussions and fights I would have over X-Men would literally have me drinking at night. I was so stressed because they'd make it personal.
Yeah.
In season 2, I had a film noir style subplot involving Bishop, Time Cop, and Polaris, Film Fatale. There was a scene where they go skinny dipping in the Savage Land, and Polaris makes a magnetic bubble around them, and they start kissing, and then the bubble goes underwater. I was told by our favorite Marvel exec that I was creepy for writing the scene, and that it was Skinamax. My sense, because she seemed to have a ton of issues with black people on the crew, and myself, was something about the big black dude with the white woman felt wrong to her. Now, that may be projection. You know, we don't know if that wasn't expressed, but we also have been around life enough to know that when we have ideas or we joke about something or we speak about something or we're creating something, you can usually tell by someone's reaction or the way they say things.
Look,
you usually know where they're coming from if they have criticisms, right?
Creative people are overly sensitive by nature. Right. But at the same time, there's a lot of white women Karens out there that are fucking things up for everybody.
Now, they'll tell you they're the saviors.
Right.
But they also are the very people who absolutely would feel this way.
Yeah.
And be scared to death to portray this.
Now, you heard about the I forget the guy's name, but the black man that was on the Star Trek Kurtzman stuff that got fired and what he got fired for. So he was, you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. So he was in the writer's room of Star Trek, and he was talking about a very personal story to him as a black man in this world. And he told the story as it was happening and as was said to him exactly. And so he used the N-word and many other pieces of language that somebody went to HR said, that was, I was offended by that. It's like, this man is a black man who lived this experience,
right?
And you're telling him his experience is offensive to you, and that got this man fired from Star Trek. Okay, one of the most inclusive shows that has ever been written since the beginning of time,
right?
And you fire him for that purpose. That blew my mind, and at that point, I knew that Kurtzman Trek was done and dead and will never be resurrected with those people in charge.
And just in that particular instance, it's just sad that someone would they want to steal the victim.
Yes, they want to steal victimhood. Yes.
Right? From the person that actually experienced something. They want to steal it so they can use it for their own gain or destruction of something else. It's
right.
Yeah, people like that. Yeah, I do remember that too, because I know Gary talked about that a few times.
Bobby had a question there that
I saw that, and I want to say hey to
Nolan?
Nolan and G.I. Jetman, and
What's
then
up?
Hit this question up, and I'm going to show after that one more tweet by Bo DeMayo about an email that he sent out that I find really strange as well.
So, Bobby, I actually know quite a bit about this documentary that is being kickstarted right now, and the fact that this person was a personal assistant to Stan Lee, and he saw this, and he couldn't say anything. He was like legally bound not to say things.
He's been accused. He's been criticized. I've seen both sides of it. He's been criticized for now trying to make money. I don't think that's his actions, but go ahead.
I agree with you. I do not think that his intention is to profit from this, but at the same time, he does have a passion, and from the people he's talked to and the people that he's spoken with about this, he has a passion for getting the story out there because he saw it happen real time. He was there when this abuse.
He's got video.
He's got video
of
this. Of Stan Lee being abused by his handlers, right? And all of this stuff that they did to Stan Lee after the fact. Marvel has hated everyone ipso facto when they leave the company or when they fire them or whatever. Okay. Marvel has been notoriously abusive to every single artist who has ever worked for them in any capacity. Okay. Marvel, Disney, all of it. They despise these people. Once they leave, they're like, fuck you, go away. Okay. They never paid royalties to Len Wein for all the stuff that he did. He died in squalor. Okay. Stan made a business of being in people's faces. And unfortunately, that left Steve Ditko and Kirby and many other people in the lurch in the end because they were too nice to say anything, that the company was screwing them. But that's why they left the company, because the company was screwing them. And Stan just made it his point to stay on top of everybody else, but then he got abused by everybody at the end. And this documentary is legitimately about all these things that he has not been allowed to talk about because of NDAs for so long, and those NDAs have expired, and so he can talk about it now, and he still has the footage. So he is presenting this in this documentary from his perspective on how all of these people took advantage of Stan Lee. So I would say go support it, because it should get out there
when you
who these people really are.
When you have someone medically in a certain condition, a celebrity, and obviously, there was a time when Stan Lee's name wasn't what it meant after the Marvel train started rolling, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so then you have a celebrity. There are so many people whose lives and living is dependent upon the celebrity, so that they are obviously going to have their own motives for getting this person up, signing autographs, forcing them to go meet with people when they don't feel good or can't stay awake, not letting them sleep when they need rest because they need to sign 400 more autographs.
They're making them take a nap on a trash can outside of the convention. And
right. Now, and Todd has a great point here too. Stan was not like the easiest person to work with.
No, that's true.
And I'm not gonna try to pretend like I'm gonna shill for Stan like he's the greatest guy, because there's a lot of accounts that he was a fucking asshole too.
Well,
but it doesn't.
We know for a fact that he did try to take the glory, as the head of Marvel, for what other people had done.
Even though he
absolutely
wrote, right? You had all the other people that with their artwork, right?
Yeah.
That was so important. And yet, he just by default was the front man, right?
Well, and this comes back to a recent conversation between, I don't want to say recent, and I don't want to say between the two, because these are two separate conversations, but Jim Shooter's recollection of an event and Larry Hama's recollection of an event. Right. And it comes back to perspective, and Stan has his perspective and Kirby has his perspective, and these other people have their perspective. So you're coming at it from what is the actual truth. We will never know.
And it's somewhere in the middle.
It has to be somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle.
Because the Stan Lee, Jim Shooter thing was Jim Shooter went straight to Stan Lee for G.I. Joe and other stuff. And Larry Hama. And Larry Hama's like, I was the last person on the row, so I was the last person. They talked to everybody else before they talked to me. And I don't know what the truth of it is, but I know that Jim Shooter went to him to become the editor for Savage Sword of Conan. And stuff like that. So
and something else, and Bobby brings up a good point. And Todd, I probably watched that if it was on G4 TV.
Yeah, right.
I watched G4 TV every day.
Yeah,
years back in the day. Bobby says, I met him at Dallas Fan Expo. I remember people were saying he wasn't feeling well and discouraged talking at length with him, and just to get the item signed and then move on. And after hearing how he was treated, I feel bad now about getting his autograph. At the same time, Bobby, that's how he made a living.
Not
the only way, but you were at and it's just like when Larry Hama, right? When he I got the picture with him. He's got the one eye. Everybody jokes about it.
I always try to find a way to make sure that I pay for something for Larry Hama, because he is very much I'll do this for whatever.
That's what I did
for free, but I want to make sure that he gets money. And Bobby,
he signed his name, and then I made sure I bought a print for him to sign, so I was at least giving him something.
Yep.
Right?
I was there at all of the Dallas Comic Cons, Dallas Fan Expos, and that's how I met Stan as well. And we got a picture taken with him, and he said, "You nailed it," in his Stan Lee voice. And I could tell how tired he was, but at the same time, I knew that we were supporting him.
Right.
And he was there, and he was as vibrant as he could be. Do not feel guilty about that, because despite the abuses that he was taking in, that was his only revenue source.
Yeah. And for me too, again, like that documentary about Stan, it's one of those things too where you have to watch it, you draw your own conclusions. You know,
who the fuck is disparaging dead
well,
people
I
here,
know
Jay?
I wasn't there yet. I was going to get there. We're not disparaging anyone. We're just discussing the Stan Lee documentary that's out about how he was treated by, and he got a guy's assistant who filmed a lot of it, was there for a lot of it, and he wanted to speak out about it, but obviously he couldn't because he would be threatened and also probably with lawsuits as well. And in that position, you just want to help the person that you're the assistant to, right? You're the assistant to Stan. So you're trying to subvert these other people, and maybe bring him more water, bring him more food, let him get more rest, make up an excuse as to why he's not ready to sign you. I mean, just whatever, right?
Yes, right.
Do everything you can. And so, yeah, but it is interesting. It does show you, and look, it's happened throughout history. It happened to Elvis.
Yep.
There was a group of people around Elvis who knew better, that could have helped and done something, but guess what? Their salary was on Elvis's payroll. And that's how they made their money.
Everybody
Michael
who's
Jackson,
famous or is on the salary of somebody who's famous is playing on the curtails of somebody who's famous. And so they will take every advantage of that because that's what those people do.
Yes. That's how they make their living. And if that person's no longer around or unable to sign autographs or take pictures or do whatever, then guess what? You're not making money either. So it really is. It's a situation where there is a selfishness along with it. At the same token, it's like it's a business. It's a business. All right, it rolls on. It's part of it. But as we've all seen, as people get older, the faculties are not there like they used to be. Right. And once they start to affect the health of someone in particular, that's where people need the ability to be able to step in and say, "Hey, we need to slow this down. We need to, maybe let's do this a different way." Right? Oh no, have a heart, Matthew. Have a heart. He's got a heart. It grew 3 sizes yesterday. I saw it. I saw it happen on X-rays. I'm sorry, I can't. Look, Prince, Whitney, Hulkster, they all, right? They all did. And Bob Kane stealing from the Finger Man himself,
G.I. man, we were not mauling Stan Lee. We were being realistic about who he was as a human being. And things happened. And from perspectives, that can be taken one way or another, okay? And because we're talking about it, doesn't mean we're disparaging anyone.
Yeah, no, not by any means. No, it bears referencing, and the question came up. Yeah. So it's a topic for sure. Stan Lee documentary. It is interesting, definitely, and I do believe the guy that was his assistant. I think when I look at it, I've seen the footage and stuff. I do believe him. I don't think he's trying to be exploitative. I don't think he's even trying to make any money off of it.
I don't know if I want to call him an assistant or not, but he was involved with a lot of Stan Lee stuff because there was somebody who was the assistant who actually did the abuse. But in any case, that documentary that is being talked about is worth checking out. If you're at all interested in it, to support it, because I love documentaries.
So let's get back. Let's get back really quickly to actually disparaging someone like Kevin Feige. So Bo DeMeo, one last tweet I want to show you guys. And then we're going to talk about Alien Earth. I got scolded once. This Bo DeMeo's tweet says, I got scolded once for emailing Kevin Feige and the Marvel execs because my email started with, "Greetings, executives." Okay, executives. Kind of cute.
He's being funny.
Kind of neat.
Being funny.
And he says, I was immediately told Kevin despises being called an executive because he sees him and his parliament as artistes. It's hard to honor your characters when that's the priority over a well-meaning X-Men pun. So he was just trying to be cute and have fun. It's a fucking email. Like, really? Like, okay, I guess. Is it professional? I don't know. They're artists. It's it's a creative world. I can imagine much worse as a email greeting. That's for sure.
I like Kevin Feige less and less the more I learn about him. I'm just saying, he's a sycophant who wanted to make Star Wars, and was tied up with Marvel. And, yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, listen, I don't know how much, and Turk Murphy's here with his This Old Junk channel right now. I will say,
what's up?
Yeah, I just feel like if we keep getting more and more of these nuggets, I say keep it coming. Like, keep it coming.
Well,
I want more and more and more.
I'm gonna echo some comments that other people have said today. Kevin Feige should have been fired a long time ago. Long time ago. I mean, he has had almost 8 years of failures now.
What about Kathleen Kennedy?
I mean, is she gone or is she here? Kathleen Kennedy's status is queer.
Yeah.
She left the building, folks, for the weekend.
For the weekend. Damn. I feel you on the Feige thing. I mean, look, I think you build up some cred if you have a run like that. You build up some cred, but
I get it. But it
time passes quickly
real fast in Hollywood. It's what have you done for me lately in Hollywood, not what you did for me 10 years ago.
Yep. So you watched a little show that came out today.
I did.
I'm going to click over to, I'm just going to show maybe reviews, no spoilers, but I'm halfway through episode 1. You got through episode 1.
Yeah.
What do you think about Alien Earth so far with one episode?
I think, without spoiling anything, the cinematography, the music cues, the setup are all so well done that people who are fans of the first 2 movies are going to get engrossed in this and find it engaging enough to continue to watch. Where it leads, I don't know. I've only seen the first episode. There's some things in it that I find potentially concerning, but at the same time, they are talking about a science fiction allegory of, I mean, they're exploring transhumanism, right? I mean, that's ultimately what they're going for. And that has been a thing that's been going on in Hollywood for quite a while. And it's been annoying because it leads to all kinds of other weird shit that I don't agree with the way it's being presented. So far, I'm not seeing anything that is disengaging. Everything that I'm seeing has made me want to watch the next episode, which has made me want to see where this is going to go. So I've got more hope for it now than I did when the premise came up because of Alien Romulus and so many other things that they've done. I think this looks pretty darn good, and I'm happy to be engaged with it. And I think that it's worth a watch. So if you like the Alien universe, Alien and Aliens, because it does play on both, I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting. And I have always said, and I've said this before in many chats and everywhere else, right? As soon as aliens go to Earth, the franchise is dead. Is this the end of the franchise? I don't know. This is an in-between story, because the whole idea is if they made it to Earth, it's fucking over.
Right.
And so now we're bringing them to Earth. but I've grown since the initial thought of that impression, and I can see how they could do something, and then how Wayland Utani can, purchase Prodigy and or whatever. They can continue to go. So I'm interested. There's a couple things in there that are like, oh, they're making too much of a callback to this, that, or the other. They're trying to do this thing, that thing, whatever political thing you want to put on there, they might be delving into. But the original Aliens movie was an anti-corporate, anti-military movie. It was a Vietnam movie to the nth degree, and that's what James Cameron made it as. And it is what it is. It's a damn good movie, and this has potential. So I think it's worth a watch.
I agree. It has potential. 3-star says lots of exposition in the beginning. Yeah, I could understand that. I mean, they are setting up the world, but at least as there is some exposition, at least they're actually doing something while, rather than just someone saying, as you know, and then the two characters are just standing there looking out a window.
Or it's like, text. I mean, text would be terrible.
Right.
Superman.
Yeah, right. So I get how they're wanting to kind of tell this, at least from the get-go. But yeah, I was pretty engrossed. I kind of like the scene where they have the kids in there and they one by one, right? And it's kind of neat because it's a little different each time.
Well, yeah, but that could also be, if you read into it something other than that, there's something there that could strike a chord with people, positive or negative.
Yeah, look, if the director or showrunner comes out and says, yeah, I was trying to make a statement on X, right, or this, then yes. But I do feel like most filmmakers throughout time are trying to bring some kind of statement to their work, whether it's subtle or very, very on the nose.
Yeah.
Are some of those themes about transhumanism there? Yeah, I can see that, because there are some sentences and things said that, and also something that's read straight out of what, Peter Pan, right?
Right. Yeah. My big issue is when artists tell you what they're trying to convey, then their art has failed, in my opinion, because your art should speak for itself, and it should draw conclusions. It should make people think and make people have discussions. That's what you want art to be. But if you tell people what your art is, then there cannot be any discussion any further. And that ruins it. So just let it be.
So I know for me, having just watched just the first half, okay? I'm just at the first half of episode 1, and 3-star says the last 15 or 20 minutes gave me some serious Jason X vibes.
Yeah, I get that. I get it.
For me, I'm guessing it gets a little schlocky.
As
far as, oh, look out behind you kind of thing.
From
the side. Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, there has to be an element. There has to be something there. There has to be a catch. Right? I mean, there has to be something that progresses the story forward. Okay, so this thing happens. What is the we don't know what the repercussions of that thing is yet, and not from episode 1 anyway.
And there'll be flashbacks, and there'll be more tellings than what happens at the beginning, because you barely get to know part of one group at all, and then everything goes to shit. So I'm sure there's flashbacks. I'm sure there's some exposition, but I'm hoping they show us rather than telling us. I don't, this old junk, Turk's like, hey, look, not really crazy. Don't care about it. I feel like if you don't really care about that franchise at all, I get it. If you're just kind of ambivalent towards Alien or Predator or whatever, then I could see where this is not going to be on the top on your radar.
An Alien and Aliens is some of the most formative things in my mind in terms of cinema and the experience in the theater. It had a profound impact on me, so I am highly invested in this world. So
me too, and I think that's also part of the reason why. And it looks good. I thought the music was pretty cool. I like
Did you love that alien music cue when they're going through that thing and they play that little piano, that little 3-note thing, that do do
yeah
do, you know, and
yeah
then they throw that in there, and I'm like, and they did it in the exact same timing as the original, but they had other sounds on
right.
top of it, so it was kind of hidden, but it was still there. I love those little musical cues that they threw in there. I thought that was brilliant.
I do think it's worth people's time.
Yeah.
And if for those that didn't even know this was a thing,
Yeah, right.
and kind of snuck up on you, as happens with certain stuff,
For sure.
kind of snuck up on you. I mean, just based off of my first half hour or first half, I feel like I can see where it's going, but it still didn't make it any less interesting. I thought it was good cinematography, and I thought there was some good good plot going on. So I can't wait. I expect it to not be perfect. I just don't think anything is these days.
Yeah, it can't be, right?
But
is it going to suffice? Is
right.
it going to be an honoring of that which was presented initially, right? If they
Right.
don't do what Alien Romulus did and go full Ridley Scott, destroy aliens by
Yes.
double dipping on Alien and Prometheus and all that nonsense, if they kind of bridge the gap between Alien and Aliens, I think that is a huge step forward in the universe that can bring a lot of healing for all the damage that has been done in so many of these crappy movies that have been made.
Right. Well, it's hopefully it can redeem that. Looks cool so far. Obviously, I need a few more episodes in to really tell anybody if I'm really digging it. What I do hate though is that damn release schedule.
Yeah, no, I hate that too.
And Disney Plus now is rolling Hulu up, and so when you're trying to access this, I kept getting error messages, and it wouldn't let me sign in, and I'm just like, just let me log in, and check it out. And maybe they were having a lot of logins at that time. I don't know. Maybe that was it. Johnny Reno is also here. What's up, Johnny?
What's up, Johnny?
Good to see you. Let's see. He also says I saw Aliens, and unfortunately Alien 3 in the theater. I could understand going to see it anyway. Now, I could also understand if you decided to leave, but I could fully understand if you did go to see it, because they're probably Sigourney Weaver and plenty of hype. Lots of hype for that, of course.
Johnny Reno, I didn't dislike Alien 3 as much as a lot of people did. I was like, I hated when they, at the beginning, when they kill Hicks and Newt. And I was like, that sucks.
Yeah.
And then the director's cut, the assembly cut, whatever that other cut is, I thought did a better job.
Right.
But man, I go back to the comic books, the Dark Horse comics, for the continuation after Aliens rather than what they did in Alien 3, unfortunately, because man, Alien 3 just kind of made it turn and just went out this weird direction. I thought Alien Resurrection had some interesting things involved with it that were, again, they were transhumanism type of things that were, interesting to a degree. But, it's hard to take the Alien franchise serious after Aliens.
And I think you have to have the alien in it. I just don't think you can make anything that doesn't have that classic design. And it's also one of those things where the more and more you see it, the less and less effective it is. If that makes sense.
So part of the interviews that were cut from the original documentary that I saw last weekend was with James Cameron in particular. I haven't watched the Sigourney Weaver one yet or the other ones, but James Cameron regrets the fact that when he made Aliens, he didn't include Giger. He thought, we're morphing this, we're changing it, I'm going to use my designs, and whether it was arrogance or whatever reason, he did not include H.R. Giger in it, and Giger was pissed about it, and Cameron later regrets the fact that he did not have him involved with it. But it was one of those interesting things where he had his own creative vision. And this is what people are doing today, but they don't have a good creative vision. Cameron had a good creative vision, and he kind of morphed it into something else. And I still wonder what it would be like if Cameron had included Giger, and they had at least discussions on concepts of what the creature is. But it's interesting.
It's Johnny Riss says we all hated the beginning. Resurrection was horrible.
I mean, I'm not saying it was good. There were some great moments. So 3-star. Do you know that scene where Sigourney threw the basketball up and it went right into the hoop was a one take, and it actually happened, and it was a fluke event that it actually happened, that she threw that ball up and it went in the hoop. They were not expecting it. They were expecting to do 2 different shots where she threw the ball up, they caught it, and they dropped another one down in the hoop. That's what they expected to have happen, but it didn't. She actually threw that shit up and it went right in the hoop. And it was like, what?
And some people would spend 100 takes on that stuff.
Yeah, no shit. I mean, there's some interesting things in there with the synthetic person, with the hybrid and all that other stuff. I thought it had interesting points.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to the show, and from what I've seen, just the first 30 minutes, I'm engaged. There's been a couple things that I'm just kind of like, I could probably scoot it up by 10 seconds, but I chose not to, just to get the full effect. But it does look good, so I can't wait to kind of go through it at a later date, for anybody that's maybe watching it out there.
I'd love to talk about it more, because I am such a huge Alien fan.
Says Johnny Ritter, did you watch the recent interviews with Michael Bain about Alien 3? I have not actually seen that. I don't think so, unless
Michael Bean. Yeah. Man, I talked to him in person with his wife about that. That's some cool shit.
Okay. Todd C watched Predator in the theaters. I don't know if we were old enough to see it back then.
No. He said, no. Read that again.
Wait a minute. I watched Predators in theater.
Predators.
Oh, Predators. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, that movie. Wasn't that one where they thought autism was the autistic boy?
No. That was The Predator. Predators.
See, that's where it's all fucked up. No, at this point, no, fuck it all.
Predators is the Adrian Brody, Lawrence Fishburne.
That's right. Yeah.
Movie on the other planet.
Who cares?
I liked that one. I thought that one was fun.
Who cares now? There's
Topher Grace as the serial killer. I mean, come on.
What about Topher Grace as Venom?
Yeah, I mean, he's asshole enough. Sure, whatever. I mean, he wasn't Venom, right? He was
Eddie.
Yeah, he was Eddie. He was Eddie.
Boy.
But
that's a rabbit hole.
Tom Hardy's Eddie was a little bit better in my opinion, but whatever.
I agree.
I mean, a Topher Grace version was more of an asshole to begin with. So I mean, that kind of fit too.
So 3-star, if Giger was involved in Aliens, an entirely different movie than the first one. Doesn't matter if he was involved. It was an entirely different movie than the first. The creatures were based off his design, not the screenplay.
No, and I get that. And Cameron was thinking the same thing, right? He's still basing his stuff off of that. And you think about that corridor that he created with the way he had the aliens move, right? There were all his designs based off of that. And the Queen, I don't know what Giger could have done different with the Queen that Cameron didn't already do.
Right.
I think it was a matter of compensation, right? I mean, he was using his ideas for these things, and just to have him be included in a discussion, I think was more the idea than it was, the arrogant man excluding him or not being honorable to the Giger designs. I mean that. Cameron regrets it because he knows now what he could have done then that would have worked, but he didn't know then what could have worked. So that's just what happened.
Menjoza says, I heard if you pretend that Spider-Man 3 is better if you stop watching after Harry bumps his head.
Spider-Man 3. What Spider-Man 3 are we talking about? Are we talking about Far From Home? Because Far From Home was pretty fucking good, and Harry
I'm
Osborn wasn't
guessing.
in Far From Home because there
I,
was no Spider-Man.
I'm
Oh, the
guessing.
Venom, the Venom one.
No, I thought you were talking about Toby.
Yeah, it's Toby Spider-Man 3. Okay,
The
okay.
overstuffed film. And
I
when
mean,
Harry bumps his head and starts kind of going cuckoo.
well,
Right.
I mean, whatever. I mean, Bully Maguire is awesome. So, I mean, take it for
You
what
know
it
what, man? Let me tell you something. I may be one of the few people out there in the world. I didn't mind that scene. I didn't mind the jazz scene. I didn't mind the dance. I didn't mind the
Look,
James Brown song with him walking down the street. I liked all of that in the movie with the context of where it was coming from. I actually
no,
liked it myself.
I totally agree with you. And I will go so far as to say that they did the best interpretation of Venom going from Peter to Eddie. There was
Right.
comic accurate, right? Nobody else has done this comic accurate movement from Venom from Peter to Eddie that they did in Spider-Man 3. I thought they paid such good homage to that. That's kind of one of those things that I'm like, I don't mind Spider-Man 3 and I don't mind the director's version or whatever, the alternate cut of Spider-Man
Right.
3 that's out there. I think that's pretty good too. Just like Spider-Man 2.1 or whatever they call it is also a good cut.
Yeah, I don't know. I get it. I know that a lot of people hated that, and 3 stars like, yeah, you're the only one that liked it. But for me, um, I mean, dude, I'm sorry, but I love this shit right here. I just love all the people. And they're like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy walking down? He's making finger guns. So he's like, that's exactly what the hell would happen if you did that. Walking down the road, everybody would look at you like, what the hell is wrong with you? But
Now,
the song itself, though, for me, like, I love that James Brown song. But even the scene in the jazz club, I don't know. For me, it was just like I was okay with it. It was goofy.
it
But
was, but it fit the universe that they had created,
yeah, it
right?
was fine. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was fine.
No, I mean, I like those three Spider-Man movies. Spider-Man 2 is probably one of the best superhero movies that's ever been made. I mean, you talk
Oh
about
yeah, man.
Superman, the original Christopher Reeve Superman, and Spider-Man 2, and maybe Blade and Sin City. I mean, they're like perfect comic book movies.
Right. It's so stupid, isn't it? Drive your funky soul. Yeah, I don't know, man. I look. I know Spider-Man 3 has a lot of issues. It is overstuffed.
It does.
The fight scene at the end goes way too long. But at the same time, I don't know. Maybe because of Maguire and coming off the second movie, and you knew that the black suit was going to be part of this film. But yeah, I didn't have as much a problem with those scenes. And you know what? I would much rather be talking about how cringy maybe a scene like that is than whether or not a character identifies as non-binary or they have to tell you their fucking pronouns or some stupid shit like that. How about that? I'd much rather be arguing about the cringy jazz club scene than dialogue we get in movies now.
Yeah,
or TV shows for that matter. Hey, that's me. Come after me. I don't care.
You know, Toby's the man. Toby's the Spider-Man.
Yeah, man. I got it. Yeah. Just for me. And I know a lot of people love Garfield. I know a lot of people loved him. And look, when he came back in No Way Home,
he was amazing. You know what?
He did steal the movie. I can't argue with that.
He really did. And it made me appreciate him and what he wanted to do with Spider-Man even more. Right? It's like now everybody wants an Amazing Spider-Man 3 with Garfield because he did such a good job with that. And it's like this is the potential that was there that was squandered by some of these people that were creating these things. And that sucks. But Toby, he made two amazing Spider-Man movies and one movie that I still like. Andrew Garfield made one and a half
One,
movies
yeah. That
he made one
second
and a
one
half
was a
movie.
fucking man.
He made one and a half movies that I like because I like 25% of the first Amazing Spider-Man, 25% of the second Amazing Spider-Man, and all of No Way Home. Right. So he was a part of one and a half Spider-Man movies that I liked.
And I did think that scene where the crane operators line up the cranes. So I was like, he doesn't need that shit.
He does not.
What are we talking about here?
He does not need that shit. But it was to make a point as he's affecting the little guy, right?
I know.
He's changing the little guy.
Yeah, New York has to be and I guarantee you in this new film, New York is going to be a big part of it. I will say though, I am concerned about the writers. I'm concerned about the director and their history, and also coming off of such a successful film as No Way Home. Man, it's going to be really difficult. And if that film doesn't do well,
Marvel sunk.
I'm sorry, dude. Like I don't know what happens, but it's look, not even a precursor, really.
Right. It's not. But Sony still has the rights to Spider-Man, right. So Sony keeps Marvel in check with the Spider-Man movies because they have stopped Feige from doing so many things in the Spider-Man movies, which is why Feige hates freaking Marvel and Amy Pascal and everybody involved with Sony to the nth degree, because they've messed up his ideas that he wanted to do. But those movies have been so damn successful, he can't say no to them when they come in and they say, Spider-Man's not going to do that. Yeah, and when Sony puts their foot down, they can pull the character at all from the movie. And it's also why Spider-Man is not in Doomsday. There's no Tom Holland. There's no Spider-Man in Doomsday.
Speaking of which, before we get out of here, since you did mention that, let me bring this up really quickly. Since we didn't have it quite for.
I agree, Menjoza. Spider-Man 2 did have some interesting things going on there, story-wise and
all right.
Soundtrack wise, there's stuff I appreciate in all of those movies for sure.
So let me bring this up before we saw the Doomsday trailer or the reveal with all the chairs, and it took 5 hours to reveal all 21 chairs or whatever it was.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of chairs that they didn't show that they filmed.
Right. So Ryan Reynolds, hence Deadpool and Avengers Doomsday, despite Marvel's concerning report. It says, Ryan Reynolds has sent Marvel fandom into a frenzy thanks to his cryptic Instagram post that suggests Deadpool might be joining the Avengers, Doomsday, or even Secret Wars. He shared an image of the Avenger logo in black and white, but it had a red spray-painted A on top of it. And so now everybody's going cuckoo crazy that they're bringing him in as well, which is fine, but I still feel like they're going to have a huge problem on their hand trying to make meaningful scenes and dialogue with so many characters.
We knew that he was being courted for this role from before they released the chair video. Right. Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds, and two other people were known to have had chairs filmed that were not shown in that video. And it was because they filmed it and they were in contract negotiations with those four actors. Now, it is believed that Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman have signed to be in Doomsday, but at the same time, who cares? That movie has got so many people signed on to it that nobody's going to give a care at the fact that you get 2 seconds of screen time with the person that you wanted to see in this role at this time, in this character, because there's no way that they can do justice to any one of those characters. And so this movie is going to be a bloated mess of member berries to go through the whole thing and say, oh, remember that? Oh, I love that person. Oh, whatever. And it's going to be a clip show. It's going to be a movie of a clip show.
That's why I think they're going to break it into 3 movies.
They have to. They have to do something different.
I really do. I think they're going to break it into 3 movies, and they're going to try at least take their time with it. rather than just try to bang it out in 2 movies, because I think that's just too overstuffed, and I think people are not going to like that. If you announce that many
Yeah.
people, they don't just want to see a flyby cameo. They don't want to see, you know, Cap somehow make a 30-second appearance as a
Right.
zombie or whatever the hell, right?
Right.
And so yeah, I just seems like the decision, and maybe that'll be based off the reception of the first one. Maybe that's it. They're good. I know they're filming both movies at the same time, because you have actors doing parts, recording parts without scripts, right?
Yeah.
Without full story, but they're recording scenes and doing it for both films. So,
Well, that's the way they
we
run.
will
They do
see.
all their CGI before the script is finished. They do all their character shots before the script
Right.
is finished, because they know that they can just throw in an image and just
Yes.
move on.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of people that said, "Oh, we've already filmed our stuff for it." Okay,
So
that must mean that you didn't say anything or do anything. You were just in the background.
right. Let's see. Toby. Yeah, Toby better than
I
all
mean,
three.
Toby's the GOAT, man. I mean, whatever you think about him, I would have loved to have seen his Robotech movie. I wish that Toby actually got his Robotech movie off the ground. That would have been interesting.
Well, you can always watch John Boyega in Pacific Rim
That's not
2.
Robotech, so
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
care.
I know. I'm just speculating. I loved Robotech as
I
a
love
kid.
Pacific Rim. I love Pacific Rim though
Yeah.
too.
No,
So
the first one I definitely
first
did. The
one, yeah,
second
yeah,
one sucked ass. But I
yeah,
loved Robotech as a kid. Actually, I really did.
yeah.
And there is a Gundam movie on.
Oh yes, I've been dying to
Yeah,
see.
it popped up either on my Hulu feed or
No,
my
I knew about it years
Netflix or
ago.
something. But look pretty
Years ago,
cool.
but I could never get a hold of it, and then didn't try after a while. But yeah, no, that
Right.
one and the Battleship Yamato movie, the live action ones, I've wanted to see because I've heard
Um,
they were okay.
Menjoza, Amazing Spider-Man 2 had some really good scenes, great
Yeah,
soundtrack.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah. And then 3 stars says there's so many people who can carry a whole movie in it. It's going to be a cameo film mess. Yeah,
Yeah,
Doomsday sounds like it.
sounds like it. Yeah,
Um, I just don't know, man. G.I. Bro says Owen Wilson was one of the chairs
I think
shot
so. Yeah,
but not
yeah,
used, right?
yeah.
Uh,
Because they needed to include the Loki people, so Tom
right.
Hiddleston and Owen Wilson.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yep. Uh, Clint Clint Jorgensen's here, and they talk about the Snowcat,
Stanley. Oh, Snowcat.
9,409 backers and counting.
I was talking about Snowcat.
Yeah, I would think so.
Well, I
9,409
mean,
backers. And
CoverGirl's already got her Snowcat.
is it like Flintstone's vitamins? 1 million strong and growing.
She's already got her Snowcat. Look, that's how big it's going to be.
There she
She,
is. Look
you
at that
can
hot mama right there.
look at that.
Hey, she's no Chun Li, but I'd let her dress up in a kimono anytime, baby. 3 star says no, it's Robrotech. Aha! Now you know, and knowing is half the battle.
G.I.
Um,
Joe.
so I guess just to top off here, right at the end, um, I genuinely just don't feel, and not just me, just sensing it from like watching live streams, when they talk about it, looking at the comments, even, listen to video game channels who will go off while, talk about these topics, right? Pop
Yeah.
culture channels and like, at work, even, I like to ask people, did you watch this? Did you watch that? And there really is a general malaise over most everyone that I've listened to and talked to, that it's going to be so difficult to recapture that moment in time where everyone was waiting for that next movie to come out,
Yep.
to tie these stories together. And I think that's something we've really missed, Matthew, is that the Infinity Stones and Thanos really gave every movie a purpose and some kind of something to add to it, to each movie, individual movie of some kind, even if the plot didn't necessarily revolve around Thanos
Right.
or the Infinity Stones. It still had something in there that brought that a little
Well,
closer.
that's the difference. Is that each one of those movies was written as a movie, and they said 10% of it has to tie into this storyline. right? Whereas now that they're saying that 60% of it has to tie into this storyline, and so you're losing everybody because it
Right.
doesn't make any sense because there's no investment in those characters other
Yeah.
than they're the next stepping stone to the next thing. And that's what's ruining this whole storytelling element is because these people they don't know how to tell stories. They don't know how to tell ground level stories to build them up to a crescendo, right? That's what it is. You build up to a crescendo, and then you have the climax, and then you have the finale, and then you end the movie, right? And
Right.
so they're missing the melodic part of it. They're missing the storytelling elements. They're missing the way it's supposed to be done.
And even Superman, right? Like look, I liked it just fine. It has its criticisms, Fantastic Four, same thing. But even with Superman, like you're talking about launching a new cinematic universe, they're hoping to recreate that Marvel magic. I think we're past that now. I think it had its moment in
Yeah,
time, and I think it's going to be very hard for Gunn and DC to try to measure up in any real way that level of success with the DC property. It'll have its own success, but
yeah,
it'll have to be measured in different ways. And but even talking to people about Superman, I know a lot of people that went to see it, but nobody was really talking about it a day or two later.
right,
Not like they were with when T'Challa came in,
right, yeah,
or Bucky, or the original Avengers movie, or that original Iron Man movie. Just the buzz that these
right.
things brought, right? The character development. We just haven't seen it on the TV and the movie side, and I
Yeah, it's
think
just not
people
there.
really are checked out.
Yeah,
I thought Fantastic Four was a good movie. I liked it. I
yeah,
recommended it, but it's obvious that the people who were the ones that really were out buying the tickets for these movies are no longer as interested.
yeah. You've had 8 years of less than mediocre content,
Right.
right? So you have lowered expectations so far that people are like that was pretty good, but I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Right? You've taken the excitement away from it by making such crappy content for 8 years, right? And so you've ruined you've soured the market. So now you only have your most diehard people who are going to say anything about it, who are going to even talk about it with other people. So you've gone back down to the base. So you've gone back down to Iron Man 1. Okay, you've got to start over at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think, but it's almost as if you need. We talked about this with Star Wars. Just lay off it for a few
Yeah.
years.
Just let it
Just
go.
leave it alone.
If
Lay off
corporations
of
could
it.
do that, it would be amazing, but they can't.
No, because the numbers go up every year. The expectations go up every year,
Expectations. Yep.
and so they can't. But I do feel there really is a general lack of excitement. And look, as we get closer, as you see Spider-Man come out, as you start to see more hype for Doomsday
Yeah.
and maybe some of the other movies, and they start to connect together again, and they're able to build that excitement in the next year. Then I'll definitely change my tune. I'm not gonna lie to you. I wish I was doing this when I was going to see every Marvel movie that came to the theater.
Yeah.
I wish I
Oh
was doing
man,
this at that time.
how
And
exciting would that
yeah,
be?
and coming back and talking about them
Yeah.
and end credits and this character development and all that stuff. I
So
do.
much.
I
Yeah.
wish that's what we were doing now at that time. But unfortunately, we've been stuck in a period that just has not been able to get out of its own way.
Yep.
And even on the TV side, which you'd think eventually they'd kind of get it, right? Like at some point they get it, but they
They just don't.
just keep missing the mark,
Yeah.
whether it's by a short and curly or whether it's by a long one. You know what I mean? Like it is what what did I just say? Jay Gonzo, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you, man. So yeah, and I don't know, man. We'll probably hear more from the people who listen to us and chime in, and closer that a movie comes out, you start to see those comments and people start showing up to to tell you what they thought about it.
Yep.
And again, that's why I said I wish we were doing this during that period, because you did have things coming out on the regular,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And we haven't. It's been very stuttered in the last few years, and so I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Woody, you have a good night, buddy. I appreciate it. I appreciate you hanging out too and just chilling, lurking back there, baby. As always, you probably at home moving some figs around, getting Fig City tightened up down there. That's Woody's got some amazing shit going on. That's for sure. But yeah, man, we'll see. I definitely, Spider-Man for me at the very least has been the one consistent one that I've always looked forward to. Even though I was not as big on the Mysterio plot line when it hit in the second movie.
Yeah.
I still liked the result of it because it set up the third movie very well.
Yeah.
And so I appreciated it for that. In the moment, I wasn't as happy with that second Spider-Man movie, but I have no problem with Tom Holland. I mean, he's not my favorite, but I don't have a big problem with him either.
Well, that's okay. He's probably done acting after his next Spider-Man movie.
Well, yeah, and maybe if we get a little more confirmation on that, but I know he's probably going to take a pretty good break.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like. I mean,
yeah,
he's looking to do some things in his life that will take him away from acting.
Yeah,
that he wants a big timeout.
That's
I don't
right.
know if that's a negotiating tactic or if that's something he's actually solid on doing.
It could be. Let's face it, though, mostly what he's done has been just the Spider-Man role that's been successful. His other movies haven't exactly, done gangbusters.
His TV series messed him up pretty bad, and he was not happy with the result of that because that didn't do very well, and he's not real happy about that. And so he's got to take into account all these things. But if he's been smart with his money, he's good to go.
And he's young
whatever
enough.
he wants.
He's young enough. Sony could keep trotting him out for another.
Sure.
Marvel could keep borrowing him for here and there. I mean, he's young enough. He's athletic enough.
Yep.
And with you, G.I. Bro, I'm not crazy about the new Spider-Man director.
Yeah, me neither.
The brand new day one. I'm not crazy about him. I don't know if any of you guys really know.
I'm with you, G.I. Bro.
He's
me neither.
Shang-Chi. And so we'll see. It's going to be different. It's going to be different for sure, and it's going to be different than what we saw in the last movie. It's going to be different, and it's either going to turn a lot of people off, or they're going to welcome the actor back and some of the villains, or villain in their role. So
right,
we'll see. But I know. What do you have? Do you have anything coming up here? Obviously, I know photo wise, you've got some stuff happening. Is there anything else that you kind of have going on, man?
I mean, nothing that's public. No. I mean, I just take my pictures and post them up on Instagram and chat up that kind of stuff. I don't have anything else really coming up. I do want to talk some more, Alien Earth, and
yes,
I want to talk some weapons, and I want to talk some other stuff. I really want to go see weapons. I had a good time with Naked Gun. We've been watching some other stuff like Wednesday and that kind of stuff. Just hanging out, seeing what's coming.
Well, I know that you have some pics that you sent to me, which I always appreciate.
That's all blown out.
I know, right? But this is, let's see. I'm going to have to share them. I'm just going to have to share them in a different way. Show off a couple more of them.
I had to do my Coca-Cola pictures with the bear right away.
Yeah, dude. I feel you. I thought I opened up that last one there. There we go. This is one of my favorites right here, buddy. Right here.
Oh yeah, the Monday picture. Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel tonight. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't get much sleep last night, so I'm struggling right now. But yeah, you guys go check out Matthew's photos. You know where to find them. You guys are all probably a follower on there anyway, or subscribed. I don't know. How do they do it on Instagram again? I can't remember. Follower, subscriber.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Whatever. It's all the same.
Yeah, I know it is. You guys can find it. Look, Chief of War. I will check that out for sure. Let's see. No, probably not going to see it. Don't need to see it. 3-star Freakier Friday. I think we all could pretty much. If I told you guys to guess the plot of Freakier Friday, and I gave you one caveat. I said that there's grandkids involved in the movie now. You would probably be able to guess at least most of the plot, except for maybe one major thing about it. Lindsay's supposed to get married, I think, or something like that. Oh, whatever. Shit. But yeah. So next week, Alien Earth. I'm about to go finish watching the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So next week we'll probably talk about the first 3 episodes.
3-star. Those are called acolytes, and I don't have any acolytes.
Yeah, you do.
The power of one, the power of two, the power of
many. He's
the gayest project Marvel has ever done.
You just had to play him.
I can't help it, man. It's just what a travesty that shit was. Matthew's got a harem. Oh no, Matthew's got a harem. Here we go. Shit, I knew it. It wasn't going to be me that brings this thing down. It's going to be Matthew. You watch. All right, look, let's get out of here for the week, folks. I need to finish Alien Earth. So yeah, so next week we'll talk about the first 3 episodes. How about that? I think you'll probably get one more in at least. So we'll dig into that and see if we got any more news coming out. A little light right now. Yep. So I guess we'll see you guys next week. Yeah, I think Sunday night will be my next little night to stream. And other than that, then we'll be back again next Tuesday. So really appreciate you guys hanging out as always. And we'll do it again next week. Thanks, y'all.